Today's video is going to be longer than the usual one, so make sure you guys use the chapters in the video description or the timeline below so you guys can find the part of the video that's most interesting to you. Alright, let's get started. Well, you guys, I've been waiting months to get this guy right here. It's been on my list for probably about a year now. I'm very excited to finally unbox my brand new mount. Since I started this hobby, I've been looking at getting a new mount. I knew from the very beginning that the mount that I had needed an upgrade. And I said for a long time, the mount that I've got now, my Atlas EQG, is a placeholder until I can get myself something really nice. I was going to get something like a Los Mandy or an Astrophysics mount, but Pegasus Astro came in with exactly what I wanted. I was looking for a mount that was really powerful, could hold about 30 kilograms with counterweights on it, and was, something I could really count on being something I bring out into the field and something I bring into a remote observatory location if I just had to get one down the road. And originally I was looking at some of those heavier mounts that I mentioned earlier, but one of the things that was really striking about them was the weight of the mount. If you want to go with something that can carry 30 to 40 kilograms, you're going to be getting a mount that weighs about the same, if not more. It's very common to be looking at a mount that's probably 40 to 50 kilograms. Those things are very heavy. And Pegasus Astro, along with a lot of other manufacturers, have been coming out with harmonic mounts that are very small and they're very lightweight in comparison to the payload that they can carry. And that's due to the design of the harmonic gear, and because it's a design that is mechanically very sound and it's got a ton of torque to the design. It's amazing how powerful it really is, and it's perfect for running telescopes. And I have finally got one here for myself. I got the NYX-101. So, without further ado, I know you guys are very excited, and I am as well. Let's get to unboxing this thing right here. So, first things first, cut it on open. See if I even got through on that first run. Oh yeah, okay. And it is packaged very beautifully inside. Does a really good job of filling that whole box and keeping the protective case nice and fitted well inside. A little bit tough to get out. This thing is actually pretty darn lightweight for what it is able to carry. So let's get it out. And first thing I can tell you is this is so much smaller than the mount that I'm used to. Let me tell you, this is so much smaller. I am so happy that this is basically the size of a lunchbox. That's amazing. And the fact that this can carry actually more weight than my previous system. My old system could carry about 25 kilograms, something like that for the EQ6. This is rated for 30 imaging with counterweights, which is fantastic because my new setup is going to be around 25-ish kilograms, which we're going to go over at the end of this video. We're going to be talking about my new system, what I'm going to be running on this. But this mount here fits very nicely within this box. It looks like it's got some straps here. Maybe there's a handle inside or a strap. Let's see. But let's open this bad boy up. Really love the finish on this case. You've got your invoice with your serial number on it. Oh my God, this is beautiful. So it's very elegantly placed inside here. You've just got the mount and you've got your strap, you got your cables. I'm assuming that the hand controller, once I get something like that, can fit pretty simply in here somewhere. I'm hoping. We'll see about that. But yeah, no, the system is very elegant and fits very nicely right here inside the box. When it slides out very nicely, you just grab it like that on the inside, and it pops right out, no problem. I love how easy that pulls out. Got a bunch of cables and screws and all my adjustments. Looks like right here might be for a pole master. Don't know who actually goes out and buys a pole master. TPPA for the win. And then, looks like this might be our power brick. I will probably not be using this power brick into the future. I've already purchased a proper one to use instead. I'm going to be going with the cigarette style one, the 12-volt plug, and I've got a 12.5 amp, which I'm going to throw a picture up right here of what I've got to power my stuff instead. It's 12.5 amps, 12 volts, and the best part about it is it's waterproof, IP67, I think. So that just basically means I can keep it outside and I'm not gonna have to worry about the dew and a little bit of rain if the scope is under the cover, but then the power supply is outside, a little bit of rain, not gonna hurt it. So that's fantastic. This little 5 amp power supply, it's good enough to test the mount, get the thing going, but you don't really want to run a whole rig off of a 5 amp power supply. Not enough. So, setting this aside, let's look at the mount we've got right here. So, looking at this mount, it's super clean, super tiny, absolutely loving this. We've got some, looks like you can mount like a little adapter plate onto here. I don't know what you put on there yet, but something. You've got that on both sides. You've got these little adapter ports. Then in the front, you've got space for a pole master, it looks like, and this is actually tapered, which I really like. This inner one here is tapered, so it's really easy to mount something on here, or for myself, I'm gonna be 3D printing parts that go on here because I don't use a pole master, but I can definitely think of things I want to put on here. Might make my own pole master or something like that, we'll see. But great to know that I can mount stuff very easily on the front, so it will rotate with the right ascension axis. Let's go up to the top. Up here, looks like we've got some machine screws, probably like M4 to M6, something like that. I'll have to pull these off and take a look. And then you've got the dual adjusting plates. Looks like you got 2 screws, but the single plate. I know that you see on the one that comes with the USB ports that it's got the 2 different plates here, versus this is just one. Only thing to note here on this side is we have our graduation of degrees of altitude from, I think it goes, all the way from 0 to 90. How nice is that? And the reason why it can go from 0 to 90 is because this mount here does both equatorial and alt-azimuth mode. So it has to be able to go like this, I think. Or wait, no, sorry, it has to go straight up to be in alt-az mode. And then whatever your latitude is, that will be what its angle is when you're doing equatorial mode. For me, it's gonna be about 47 degrees. For you, it's gonna be different unless you live where I live. Forgot to mention this, which just unscrews from here and screws into right here to allow you to easily adjust your altitude on the fly. Or if you want to crank this thing, like going from equatorial to alt-az mode, this allows you to spin it super fast, so you don't have to sit here cranking the knob the entire time. And this Allen key from before, it's used to crank down these for extra heavy payloads. So you can just crank that down and really get it tight for when your rig weighs a lot and you don't want it to move around in altitude. So now on to the business end of this thing. We've got, starting over here, we've got our PC port. This is basic USB 2. Then we've got our EXT port. This can be a whole bunch of things. Pegasus is about to come out with a hand controller, which I'm probably gonna get for this thing because although I don't use the hand controller too often, I'm gonna probably wanna use it every once in a while, more as just like a left, right, up, down kind of thing, as well as I'm gonna be using Sky Safari Pro for this, which I have on my phone. So it can be controlled with your phone, or you can use the hand controller. Hand controller is going to run you probably a couple $100. It hasn't even been released yet, but I am very excited for that to come out. Then we've got our power in and our power out. Our power in and out are both GX12-2 ports. As you can see here, GX12-2, I believe this is the same as like the EQ6R Pro. Mine is not an EQ6R Pro, mine's an EQ6, so I just have like the classic 2.1 millimeter port. This is better, it locks, it's wonderful. I'm glad that my mount is now a locking port. It never came unplugged on my EQ6, but I know for a fact this will never come unplugged. The pass-through here runs up to 7 amps, I believe, out, so you can get up to 3 amps, I believe is what it is for tracking, but the mount will allow 7 amps to pass through on this out port here, which is fantastic. That's going to probably be enough for both of my rigs. And that's also, remember how I got that 12 and a half amp power supply? That's perfectly rated for this system here, which is going to draw at max about 10 amps. Having a 12.5 amp power supply is going to be good because it's just going to be a little bit above the recommended max, and I don't think I'm ever going to draw 10 amps out of this system. That'd be a lot, but this is going to be perfect for getting her going. Here in the bag, we've got a lot of fun stuff. You've got your cables, stickers, you've got your bolts for adjusting. Let's see, looks like these are maybe your altitude adjustments or your azimuth adjustments. I don't know what all of these are, but I will figure them all out. I'm going to go through the manual and get this whole thing installed. So we'll go put that together here in just a minute. One of the other things I want to go over is the mount that I've got for this. I'm going to be running 2 different mounts depending on the configuration. I've got my aluminum tripod that I've got from my EQ6, or I've got the NYX carbon fiber tripod. I think that I can pretty much always just use the carbon fiber tripod. But I'm gonna go get that here and we can go look at some of the stuff that's included in that box. All right, so the NYX box for the tripod is probably a little bit bigger in volume even than compared to just the mount. That's how tiny this mount really is. Just gonna cut across the top here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. Nice little barrel style. I really enjoy this shape here. I like how it's not too much of a point on one side. Looks like this one also comes with tassels. They're plastic, but I feel like they're made out of a pretty good material here. Looks like they're gonna last hopefully a long time, fingers crossed. Tassels up here also look pretty good. So, ooh, that's kind of nice how you can just open the top and slide it on out. I like that feature. But the mount here, really, really lightweight. Like, I am blown away at how lightweight this mount really is. I mean, my other mount, it's just a pain to carry the EQ6 mount around. This is gonna be so much better. And this is not the only carbon. Oh, I didn't feel these yet. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, I really like the material that they chose for these. These are significantly nicer than my NRL tripod. My NRL tripod ones are nice, but this is a significantly higher grade material that they chose to coat these grips in. Really love these. Absolutely loving it. Okay, you've got right here, you've got your tripod spreader. And that is a tiny tripod, but it's exactly what you need. It looks like it's got, is it just one extension? Yeah. So you can go out to one full extension of it. And these things are so sturdy. I've used many before. I'm sure this one's going to be just as sturdy as my NRL. But yeah, that's really, really well built. Very happy with this. And let's see. Pulling this off, I have a feeling is going, oh yeah, super simple. You've just got your latch that you untighten there, and then it looks like you got a thing that you push, and it pops right off. So very simple. And you've got a bubble level right here. So you just slap this guy down, put your mount right on it. Everything locks into place. And oh yeah. And the tripod spreaders here, if you look here, you can see this flat angle here. When you max out these, that's what stops these from coming out. So this is, you know, when you're spreading out your tripod, goes out. This is your maximum width here. This is your maximum width. And that here is going to be defined by that angle that they cut in here at the top. And this tripod spreader is going to be rated perfectly to spread that out as much as possible. And that is going to screw into, looks like right into your mount directly, but going through this plate here. Perfect. All right, so now that we've got our tripod set up, all we have to do to put this thing together, first we slap in the plate. And we're gonna lock it down. So one thing you gotta do before you install the mount is you need to install the azimuth adjustment device here, right? And it screws into these tiny little screws here, just found this out, with this Allen key that is included. Actually, it's not this one. So we're just going to install it like so. Just like that. And now once this guy is installed, you can drop the mount on. First you gotta loosen up these guys. And then you slip that on the back. And now you've got adjustment. Perfect. Very nice. I like the way that that one is designed as well, with the tiny little inserts. Very nicely done. So then we screw it up to the height of our latitude, which for me is right about here. And then finally, you're left over with these two little guys. And what these are for is these are your azimuth locking adjustments. So when you need to lock in your azimuth, you've got these guys, these adjustment bolts dialed in here. You've got on either side of the mount, there's these tiny little slots here. And on the inside of that is a screw hole that these guys go into. So we're going to install that right here. Should be right down the center. Just like that. And there's one for both sides. And that is going to allow you to lock your azimuth in once you've got that perfectly set. You lock your azimuth with these two screws, which is very handy. And already I could tell that the tripod legs were flexing a little bit. So I think when they're rated for that 110 pounds or whatever, I think that's rated for when they're fully shortened, not when they're extended. So keep that in mind. I don't think that you're going to want to fully extend this thing when you're running 2 telescopes like I'm going to be doing. You're going to want to keep these things pretty short, or you're going to want to be using an aluminum tripod like you get on an EQ6. So now you've got your locked altitude, you've got your locked azimuth, you've got your adjustment for your azimuth, you've got your adjustment for your altitude. All of these things, we just installed these locking bolts, these sets for each of these, and we also just installed our bottom plate here. And you can mount this back whenever you want, really, but it should probably be in here, even when I'm working on the mount like this. One little fun feature I just found is if you've got this Allen key here, it's got a little, on this side here, there's a little drop-in slot for it. And if you get it just right, there's actually a magnet that holds it down here, which is really nice when you're trying to not lose your equipment. You can have your wrench right here on the mount. I don't know if I can, let you guys see. There you go. So that's where it goes. It lives right on the mount. Right there. This is nice, being able to have a mount that I can just like pick it up and carry it around and do what I want with it. So much better than the EQ6. I'm loving this. And now you can see I've got my Esprit 100 mounted up here with all the goodies on it. And I'm gonna fire this bad boy up for the very first time. So all I need to do is click the power switch. It should be good to go. So let's go check on the light. Oh yeah, we got the light glowing, very nice. And let's see if we can slew this thing around as well. I'm gonna go log into it on my phone and we can get this thing moving around. Ooh, it makes a little sound. I don't know if you guys heard that. Also, I forgot to mention, if you're trying to control this telescope on your computer, just download the Unity software and keep it up to date. You'll be all good to go with controlling this telescope. It will just work. So now we got the controls here right on my phone, and we're going to do our best to drive this thing around, and we'll see how good it is. First off, I'm going to go to maximum speed because I want to see how much this thing can haul. So, let's go to the east. Holy cow. That is quiet. And it is smooth. Going to the west. Just as quiet and smooth. Let's go to the north. Equally quiet and smooth. Let's go back. And then let's do a multi-slew. And then you just continue going to the east. That's amazing. That's so much better than what I'm used to. Let me park them out. Gives you a little beep, and then it goes right back to home. And this scope here is about 10 kilograms-ish, maybe a little bit more than that with the camera on here. Maybe more like 14, somewhere between 10 and 14 kilograms. Parked with a beep, and this thing just handled that like a champ. So one of the things that users might want to do is connect to their mount wirelessly. I know that that's a feature that I'm definitely going to want to use when I'm out in the field. And so to do that, you're going to need to find your telescope on your Wi-Fi. So you click on your telescope name on your Wi-Fi, settings in your phone, and you type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you hit join. And it should connect right away. Taking a little while. There you can see NYX-101 blah blah blah. You're also going to need to download the Pegasus Astro Unity app. It looks like this on the App Store. And as long as your phone is connected to the Pegasus mount, and you connect to this app, it will just automatically connect to it, no problem. And so the first thing that the app does when it connects to your phone is it grabs the time and the GPS information and sends that right to the mount. So your mount will be much more accurate than it would be just typing this information in. And so that's a wonderful plus right off the bat. And so let's demonstrate some of these controls. So first things first, you are going to go into setup and you're going to unpark the mount. You hit yes. You hear it unpark right here. And then we have the ability to slew it around right here in the app. We're going to change our slew speed to the max. And then we can now control the mount right here from our phone. We can go back and right ascension. We can do 2 directions at once. We can rotate it 90 degrees, which is very important when you're trying to control things in an equatorial mode. And then you can also change your tracking modes. If I was doing lunar tracking, for example, I could change it to the lunar. I can also go between equatorial and Alt-Az. I won't be doing that right now. As you can see, it's got lots of controls built in right here. And then we can also go into the catalog and we can search things up like M42. We go search, and we can slew to it, or we can sync, which is really handy. And you just hit that button, and the telescope slews right to it. So the app here that Unity had, or that is made by Pegasus, the Unity app, is a comprehensive app that works really nicely, and it gets the job done for most things that you'd want it to do. But then I also know that some people are going to want to use Sky Safari. Oh, and finally, It does have star alignment, which is great. But the process for getting this thing set up on Sky Safari is a little bit more involved. So I want to show you guys exactly how you connect to this mount in Sky Safari so you guys can use it through there. So here I am in Sky Safari Pro, and I'm going to now connect to this mount, and I'm going to show you guys the initial setup process. So first, you go to the menu and you go into Settings, and you would scroll down to telescope, and you've got different presets here, but we're going to just create a new one for you guys so you can see exactly how to do it. So you go to Add Presets, and we would go to Other, and we're going to scroll down, or sorry, we're going to first select Equatorial Go to German, and then we're going to scroll down to, where is it? Pegasus NYX-101. Then we're going to hit Next. And the original IP address that it pops up here, the generic one, is not the correct one. So you're going to need to type in 192.168.137.1. And that is the IP address of the router hotspot built into this mount. And then the port number here, this is really important. It's not going to work if you don't enter this correctly, but it's really easy, 9999, all right? So you just enter these two numbers, we can check the connection, and it's going to say verified. So that is exactly how you know it works. So then you're going to hit Next, and then you can save the preset. You can also save your location, whatever you'd like to do. And then to connect to it, you're going to hit Scope. Then you're going to, you can really select the object or the telescope that you want to use, and you just hit Connect. And then as long as your telescope's been unparked, you are able to slew your telescope around in Sky Safari and go to objects and use all of the functions you'd expect to use in here. So if we wanted to go to Bode's Nebula, we would click Go to Bode's Galaxy. There we go. Very nice. And you can also slew around if you like here in the app. Very simple. So now we've unboxed the mount, we've set the whole thing up, and we've gone over the initial connections on how to connect it via your phone and also to do it through your computer. I haven't had much of a chance to use it outside here. As you can see, it's pretty windy and it's pouring rain outside. Hopefully I'm going to get some clear skies and I'm going to be able to test it out. I'm also going to be going over things like using counterweights on it, trying out some really heavy imaging payloads, and really just seeing what this mount is capable of, giving you guys a full breakdown of what it's capable of guiding and tracking at. Really just trying to understand what the limitations of this mount are, because I have a feeling that they're actually going to be pretty insane. So if you guys are interested in seeing any of that stuff, please like, comment, and subscribe, and just really show your appreciation for this video. It took a lot of effort to make this, and I can't wait to make some more videos on it here in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.